This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? Another NFC and we are all back in the house again for the first time in God knows how long it's been. And we would say we're almost all in the playoffs. I'd say almost because there's still some team that's out of it.
I know.
Even though they had everybody in the world helping them win their game, he's real happy about it. He even got a tattoo saying 32-21. He's all excited about it. Let's put everybody in the right
He got that
here.
shit-eating grin right on his face.
Oh, God, it feels so good.
The wins, and he already announced that out loud and proud because hey, listen, not for nothing, because I'm not going to blame the refs. I'm not going to blame anything. You can't turn the ball over 4 times in the game and win a game ever. And it always seems that there's something going on in that coach's life the moment that they play the Eagles. So that was it last year? He was diagnosed with cancer, and then he got to ring the bell right when they played the Eagles both times. And then, the passing of his mother, which was something that was really, again, I mean, trust me, I'm not making fun of that and making light of that.
Right.
But he's not going to be able to have those things backing him up anymore because he's running out of things to be able to get all emotional about. So, But that being said, they did play a good game. They came up into Philly. They won the game, and like I said, the Eagles looked like they had only played 2 games in a month. And the crowd itself looked like they had a hangover from the World Series. So it was not an electric crowd. I mean, it wasn't very exciting. I mean, we tried to get it up. Like that first drive where we...
Yeah, it sounded pretty loud after the strip sack, and you guys
did something there. But after that, it wasn't much. Even the drive after that second drive that we did, and you guys were able to run the ball. I mean, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
So, and when you do 7-minute drives, it's going to take an effect on everybody, and it did. And you guys had a good game plan, and you executed well, and you won the game.
Well,
finally we had a good game plan, because I'm not gonna lie, after that first drive, I was like, oh, here we go. But Scott actually that was probably the best game I've seen Scott call his entire tenure with the team. So hopefully they can build off of that and keep doing what they're doing. We'll see.
Well,
I gotta be. Hold on. I gotta bump right in. I gotta say this. I gotta get this off my chest. I saw, I saw a different team in the Commanders.
Yeah.
And I was telling somebody last night on the show, you can tell those players respect Heineke.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny how different a team plays when a guy's behind center. I don't know. I mean, to me, it looked as though, again, they play completely different when he's behind center.
And that's the thing that irritates me is, Chase came out after that Tampa Bay game and said, this kid just has it. He just and he does. He has heart. There's no denying that. Now, the arm strength, that's still where I think he lacks. I think he might have improved that. I know he worked on it during the offseason, but it's so frustrating because we wasted $28 million on Wentz when we could have done something with our O-line. We could have re-signed Sheriff instead of letting him to go to Jacksonville. We could have grabbed another linebacker. We could have grabbed another defensive back where we don't have depth at. And maybe given Heineke another year, because last year he didn't have the weapons on offense like he does this year.
Right.
Right. Curtis Samuel was the other wide receiver, but he missed the entire year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this week. We go to Houston, and
what I will say, and I think that the biggest difference that I saw yesterday in comparison to just about every other game that you guys played was that you guys were able to win the battle on the offensive and defensive line. Yeah. And our offensive line was able to kind of hold you guys back some. And that's saying something because they definitely played a little bit more inspired yesterday or Monday in comparison to what I've seen from them. And you could say that they're all healthy now. You could say that they're all doing their thing right and such like that. But the offensive line is definitely healthy. Yeah, and you guys won that battle. And that was the biggest battle.
The thing with the offensive line, I think our offensive line is a better run blocking line than pass blocking, because Wentz was getting murdered the first couple of weeks. And it was mainly because Scott Turner wasn't running the ball enough. He was just trying to show off, Carson Wentz's arm. And I mean, he was getting blasted left and right because our pass blocking isn't that great. Whereas I think we are and we've got two really good running backs. So why not just hand the ball off and then, do a little play action and get Terry.
It makes me wonder if Wentz was doing here, and that was calling his own plays.
I wouldn't say that.
Maybe changing it. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't. There's too much at stake, especially for an offensive coordinator. I mean, he's not Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know. I mean, of course, we can all speculate, but I don't think it's.
I don't think Scott. I don't think Ron Rivera would allow that.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
But just seems it seems to be that there was a lot more pass plays called, and maybe that's because of Heineke. But
yeah, I mean that could be the case too. You don't trust his arm. Maybe you do trust Wentz's. But I mean, I think we found our run. We need to run the ball, and then third and short, okay, pass. But whereas we were run, pass every single time. And it was, you can predict what we were doing next. So.
And I'll say this, right before halftime, I was, to be fair, I only saw the game up to the third quarter. Okay. I made it maybe midway through the third quarter, but I wanted the time management at the end of the first half, I mean, you couldn't play it any perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact they got the touchdown, and then at the end they got the field goal to be up by 6. Yeah, it was like that 50-yarder. Yeah, to be up by 6.
Yeah. Yep.
At halftime. I was shocked. I'll be honest. I'm like, wow, these guys actually they came out. The Commanders came out and legitimately punched Philly in the mouth in Philly.
Yeah. Well, and you know, and I said this last week jokingly, but I said, hey, it could be like in 2020 when we went up to Pittsburgh and played, you know, the undefeated 11-0 Pittsburgh Steelers going to that game, and we beat them. And you know, it's just, I don't know, man. It's sometimes the stars align.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of hoped that Philly was undefeated when they played us, so we could relive that 1998 Denver Broncos Giants game.
Oh, yeah.
Or Amani Toomer, you know, or even the 2007, you know, Super Bowl, you know, when we defeated the undefeated at the time Patriots, you know. But yeah, and you know, the thing with the loss that Philly that you guys took, it just proves one that we are the best division in the NFL.
Yeah.
I really want to see this. Is what I mean, and I may not be too far fetched, but it would be something to see this whole division in the playoffs, considering where we were last year.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you,
wouldn't that be a sight to see?
It's the only reason why all of us aren't in the playoffs right now is because the 49ers have already had their bye, and they are 5-4, not 5-5.
Yeah.
Everybody in the East sides, short of the Commanders, who are in the number 8 spot, are in the playoffs. The whole AFC East and NFC East, minus the Commanders, who are half a game out, are in the playoffs.
And it
so
pisses
there's
me
something
off
to be said for
because,
that.
I mean, we are seriously 2 plays away from being 7-3. That, you know, we should have beat the Titans, and that, you know, you play the should have, would have, could have all of the time, but I mean, we blew the Titans game. I honestly think if Tyler Heineke would have been playing that game and you have him on the 1-yard line with goal to goal, I say he sneaks that ball in.
I don't know.
I
don't know about that. Although we did learn about quarterback sneaks, and that quarterback sneaks are a lot more involved than just, you know, sending it up the gut, as Buffalo found out and the Vikings found out.
Oh, yeah.
Interestingly enough, 2 back-to-back plays of quarterback sneaks, both failed.
Yep. And the thing that I don't understand about that Bills sneak is, why didn't they just take the safety?
Well, first off, there was too much time left on the game, and then that would have put it so that the field goal would have won the game.
Yeah,
so that was that part. Secondly, I mean, realistically, you're just trying to get it up and move it forward a half an inch. You just
you're trying to get some space.
The box snap.
But now with that loss with Buffalo, because before, in my mind, the AFC Championship game was going to go through Buffalo, but now it's almost a sure thing that it's going to go through Kansas City again.
Not true. Kansas City's going to lose another game.
Well, but they could still lose another game and still, you know, take the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Buffalo beat them.
Buffalo has what, 3 losses, right?
2.
Right.
Is it?
They have 2. No, Buffalo has. They have 3.
Buffalo has 3, and Kansas City has 2, but Buffalo's got.
Okay. So they're only a game. They're only a game back then.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. I guess I got to look at the Buffalo schedule.
I mean, as of right now, the Buffalo is in the numbers 5 seed.
Yeah.
Or maybe is it even number 6? They beat the Jets. So
they're
5.
third. Well, when I saw the standing, if I'm not mistaken, they were 3rd in the AFC East.
Well, the Jets beat them too, right?
Yeah.
Jets beat
Buffalo.
So
that's.
But I mean, you know, we should not forget about the Dallas Cowboys. You know, America's team.
That's right, and always will be.
Oh man, I I did take some satisfaction watching that loss. I'm sorry, True Blue. I love you.
No,
to
you're
death.
fine. You're fine. Everybody
You know.
can enjoy whatever, but I'm going to tell you what, being there to experience the whole thing live and in person it was just, you got to look at it from a standpoint of a offensive coordinator who just screwed the pooch royally from being a 28-14 game to letting it tie up, which when you don't run the ball,
Yep.
you're up 28-14. You throw 22 times when you're up 28-14. And then when you're 21 up, 28-21, you decide, well, let's just go ahead and throw it 9 more times.
When I saw
it makes no sense on why, as an offensive coordinator, that should be allowed. You're winning the game. You got to kill the clock.
When I saw that Dak threw, the attempts was 44. He had 44 attempts.
Yeah, garbage.
Why?
Exactly.
I mean, you're right. You guys were up, and it was like the fourth quarter when they were coming back.
Exactly.
That's when you run the ball.
Exactly.
So I know Zeke was hurt. Was Pollard hurt?
No, Pollard was in the game. And then
run him.
Exactly.
The running back that was filling in for Pollard was playing good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was playing good ball, but the thing is, it's coming from the offensive coordinator, and it doesn't make any sense. And I've given this guy every break that I can, and regardless if he is the whiz kid that everyone thinks from the inside is something that's going to be, this big hoorah. It's not. This guy is not who everybody thinks he is internally.
And hold on. And also at some point, Dak got to be responsible.
Of course.
Because he's the one that's executing the plays.
And right in the red zone.
There were a couple passes where I saw he forced it. And the body language that him and CeeDee Lamb both have, on that one pick where I guess CeeDee was supposed to flatten it out instead of taking it deep. Yep. He's like, what the F you doing? And then he's like, what the F you don't do that on national TV.
Well, you do it because you have to get some see, and that's the thing, is these wide receivers know where that empty spot's going to be at. The quarterback needs to realize where it's going to be at. It's up to those two guys to work together to make it happen. That's what makes a quarterback wide receiver combination, elite. You got to know where each other's going to be at. And if Dak doesn't realize that he's going to have that empty spot in the slot or in the backfield with that safety pushing in, I mean, CD was wide open. I mean, wide open. All he had to do was get the ball over the top. But again, he wants to blame CD. CD wants to blame Dak, and I'm going to have to go with CD on this one.
I don't know if you've heard, or because you live in Texas as well. So, we're privy to the local news and what they talk about the Cowboys. I'm going to say this, and I could be wrong, right? I'm okay with throwing that alibi out there, but the fact that you have other players calling out other players, it's not a good thing. You got to keep it in house. And I did not like the fact that McCarthy encouraged that. He said, "Oh, we're all competitors. I have no problems with that." No, you need to have a problem with that, because that's what's going to erode a cohesive unit. And so you don't even know what level of what can I say of I don't want to say of anger, but of trust each player has to have in each other, knowing that if they mess up, I got somebody behind my back that's going to talk to the media rather than come to me man to man so we can address the issue.
Well, that's the thing, is that he has somebody's back, and that person who he has the back of neglected to do their job, and that's why he's pissed. And he has every right.
Micah, who did you call out? Oh. And I'm asking because I forgot. I'll be honest. He called out like I know one for sure. And McCarthy was like, "Oh no, I'm okay with that. We're all Warriors." I'm like,
"Well, the thing is that game. Looking at it from the onset, Dak Prescott didn't do his job. I mean, from the very first snap, you're not reading the defense. Second, the defense was on the field way too long. When you're getting these 3 outs, you're not giving your defense enough time to rest.
Yeah, Parsons Parsons looked winded a little bit.
Oh,
he
yeah,
did
yeah.
look
I
tired.
mean,
Yeah.
he was all over that field making every
Yeah.
stop possible.
Yeah.
I mean, when he's running from one side of the field to the other, that goes to show you who he's talking about.
Yep.
He shouldn't have to be coming up the rear end to be sacking somebody from behind. And you know that I know when that first touchdown was scored by Green Bay and the way he did it, turning around, jumping around, grabbing himself, you know, right in front of
Oh
Mike.
yeah, the end zone.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Aaron Jones.
You know that's going to set him off. But regardless, the offense failed to do their job, and with the 3 and outs, it's just not happening. And those 2 interceptions that were forced, you got 4 defensive players in the red zone, and you're trying to fit a spiral in it now.
Yeah.
Run the ball, throw it somewhere else, get it outside. Don't force something. But see, that's Dak Prescott's MO, and I can't believe that somebody's not sitting with him, regardless of what we all think. Nobody's telling him. You can't have a QB coach in there, an offensive coordinator, and he's still making these throws, because had he been coach, he wouldn't have done that. I don't care what anyone says.
I blame Mike McCarthy's stylist. He shouldn't have showed up with to Lambeau Field.
Oh my God, that was just so. That made no
was
sense
that?
to me whatsoever. To me, that showed he missed being at Green Bay. I'm gonna be honest. That just showed
That,
he wished he was
I
still
don't know,
there.
It kind of made me feel like he thinks he's on Lombardi's level. Which
I can see where you get that. Yeah. Well, then, you know that.
Do your
I'm
job,
not
as
gonna
Lombardi
say
used
it.
to say.
exactly.
Yeah.
Do your job.
You're right about that.
And that's the thing too, is I don't know what's going on internally, but some of the play calling that just continues to happen is overwhelmingly sad from a fan standpoint.
Now,
Because when you see it as a fan, the stuff that's being neglected, you have to ask yourself why. There's nothing we can do as a fan. We just have to support it. And I know what I was yelling out, and I know the encouragement I got, and they were saying the same thing, and I'll tell you guys later. But it's one of those things where nobody has control over it, and we got to ask ourselves why. Why are the coaches able to get away with what they're getting away with? Why is nobody being held accountable? And I understand we're 6-3, but that's still, you know, when you're up 28-14, you don't give up a game like this the way we did. Especially in overtime.
You're talking about the coaches and the play calling, not only offensively, but defensively as well, because that run defense was just horrible.
Oh, it was.
You couldn't
give up
stop
140 some
anybody.
yards, and
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. 5-5 was not doing his job. He kept getting out. He kept getting out of where he should have been. He was missing his
Is that
assignment.
Van Der Esch?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention him by name.
Yes, and you can see, you know, when you skip left, and then it was just horrible. And now you have to sit there again as a fan and look at your defensive play calling and say, okay, what's going on? And this is why Micah's upset. This is why Micah's upset, is because of the fact that nobody is trying to help him out. And I can honestly say that, like I said, when he's running guys down from the rear end on the other side of the field, it makes no sense. You got strong safeties in there, free safeties, cornerbacks that are, you know, apparently getting hurt after they get burned, and you know, saying, well, that was embarrassing, I might as well just stay out the whole game. It's like, you know, quit making excuses and play football. And it's not just our team that does. Every cornerback does. Every cornerback does it.
Yep.
I got burned. Oh well, I'm hurt.
Yep. We had one this year. Now he plays for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Well, and also we got to talk about the wide receiver for Green Bay. Well, was it Watson?
Yeah,
Watson. He went off.
Yeah, he went off, and again he was reading the empty spots, and Aaron Rodgers was diligent. I mean, he was going off of the route.
And
he got off
how
his
many
route and got
times?
to an open spot.
I don't know if you guys counted, but how many times were they going to show that drop pass he had at Minnesota?
Yeah, the first game of the season.
How many
Yeah.
times every time he caught a touchdown pass, they showed it like 5 times.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we get it that he dropped the ball, Aaron dug into his ass, and then that's why he's catching those 3 touchdown passes today. We get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we just move on from that game? You know,
Yeah.
No, they can't because they got nothing else to show.
apparently not. You know,
That's why it's.
Yeah.
I have a hard time listening to Monday Night Football.
oh, that's with
Troy
Joe
and
Buck
Buck,
and
man. Nope, can't do it.
I saw the
wish
first. I
Mannings were
saw
on
the
there.
first 2 seconds and I was out. I fell asleep. I mean, I had got back to Texas. I'd got back to Texas at 8 a.m. after an all-nighter of driving and everything else to get back. So I worked all day, then got home, and I was like, all right.
You drove to
football.
Green Bay?
No. I flew into Chicago, drove up to
And
Green
drove-
Bay.
Yeah.
And then after the game, I turned around, drove back to Chicago, and got to the airport at 2, and then flew out of there at 5 a.m. and got here back to Texas by 8, and then came to work until 6:30.
Got ya.
you a better person than me.
What is that? About a 3.5 hour drive?
No, yeah, close to it.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, last but not least, yes, my Giants, New York Football Giants.
All right, we're
are now
done talking about
7
them.
and 2.
Thank
No,
you.
we are no.
All right,
we don't
so
talk
let's
about
move
this.
on.
I've waited patiently.
Let's talk in the game here.
It's been
he ain't been here in
so
a month and a half,
long.
and now all of a sudden
It's been
got
so
something to say.
long. I have to bring it up. Yes, we won another one. 7 and
Who'd you guys
2.
play?
Second, Houston. We played
Okay.
Houston.
Sister Mary of the Blind.
Yeah, pretty much. They're 1 7 and 1.
One.
1 7 and 1. But these are games that we would lose in the past. Honestly, these are games that we would not have won. And everybody I know on TikTok, they're like, "Oh, it's against Houston, y'all. Everybody knew y'all gonna beat it." Yeah, it wasn't like that last year. It wasn't like that the year before.
All those people, not just on TikTok, everywhere, are going, Eagles, what happened? Duh.
I hate it. You know what?
All these idiots, it's really difficult to go undefeated. It's the reason why there's only been one team ever.
I don't think there will
to
ever
do
be
it.
another team that even comes close
Yeah,
to it.
so you, like I said, and I said it straight out. You're going to lose games that you don't remain focused for. We can only play who the schedule's in front of us. So it doesn't matter if it's Houston. If you aren't being focused, you lose the game.
Yep.
And that's because they played a pretty decent game with you guys as well. I mean, you guys were able to just stay on top and win the game.
Right.
But you had to be focused about it. You can't just give it up because, I mean, if you just
you can't
try to
think,
walk
we can't
through
think
it,
about Detroit. We got to think about Houston.
Yeah.
And the thing that, and I'm glad you brought that up, Philly. I understand where people get what happened, and I'm guilty of saying that. I said it when we beat Baltimore because it's from that TikToker that started saying, who's actually a troll. He's not even I don't even call him a TikToker, sports TikToker. And I try to refrain from echoing his mantra, if you will, because that's giving him credit for something that I don't believe he needs credit for. That's one. And two, I've never had a soft spot. I've never really liked Jalen Hurts. And when the fact that he came out and he said, I don't like talking about being 5-0, and I understand where he's coming from, but with the history that I can recall of him and how he is and whatnot, although I do give him props for helping the Eagles fans when they fell off of the bleachers in Washington. The fact that he said that, and now that you guys aren't undefeated, I'm like, okay, good. Now you don't have to worry about talking about being undefeated anymore. You got your wish, which I agree. The only time any team wants to be undefeated is during the postseason. We're not playing for a BCS or a college national. We're playing for the Super Bowl. So the only time that I care about my team being undefeated is in the postseason.
Yep. No, you're
Bottom
right.
line.
100%.
Agreed. And like I said, it's like there was. I mean, when you watched our game, they looked uninspired. They
Yes,
looked really
you're right.
rusty. They looked really rusty, and you
I
could
would even
tell.
say
Like,
tired, maybe even tired.
well,
That's
I don't know if tired was. I maybe just like it was the second preseason game.
yes,
Mm.
and see that's the thing is when it happened to us too. It became a trap game. It
Right.
became a trap
Okay.
game.
Okay. Yep.
And we had the bye week coming off the bye week off that big win off Chicago, and then coming into this one, it's like, hoorah! No, not today. And the thing is that when you have that bye week and then you come into the game the way we were trying to come in there by throwing the ball and throwing the ball and throwing the ball, it just doesn't make sense. But that trap game did do the same thing to Philly. It set them up for failure. It said, hey, we're going into this. This is the Washington Commanders. And then Washington took advantage when they needed to.
I don't know that they looked at it as a trap game. I just think they looked at it as not even looked at it. It was just they
can't look
played
at
2 games in 28 days, and
Yeah.
that it looked like that. That's what it looked like. It looked like they played 2 games in a month.
Yeah. And that's exactly
You have a lot of
you don't say it's a trap game, it just sets itself up for a trap game.
Yep.
right.
You stepped in it.
That they just were it's not that they weren't prepared, they were a step slower. They made certain mistakes. Now I told you I'm not blaming the refs, so I'm going to say that this call is the only thing I want to talk about. This really quickly is it time for the NFL to bring up an egregious rule where if it's an egregious miss, that they can review that. And I think it can only work for like 15-yard penalties or things of that nature. And it not be all right, is it pass interference? And I think that pass interference kind of
It's
They
so
tried that.
stymied
Yeah.
that.
It is
they
But
tried
something
that.
like that, when they had to review, like the fact that they couldn't go back and say, you know what, we missed the face mask.
Yeah.
They should have been able to call the flag on the replay, but they couldn't do it because they didn't.
because
They
they
made
call
up.
it
They
right
made,
at the
they made up for it though.
They
They
didn't.
made up for it. Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
They
Okay,
called-
whatever.
they called offensive-
Yeah,
So,
whatever.
Jamie,
And,
I-
the time when he pushed him down and then was wide open for 20 yards. That was a makeup call. Come on now, let's be
So,
for real.
I hear what
I think that there should be an egregious rule. I think there.
Well,
should be.
I hear what you're saying, but
there.
it would never work. And I'm going to tell you why. Although I agree with you, it would never work because of the fact when they had that pass interference, challenge play back in the day, a couple years back,
Yeah.
it made you had refs making passing interference calls
Knowing
or
that
to reverse
they
the passing
could-
interference calls on their own crew. And I don't know what the percentage of the return of the reversal of that whole
There
procedure.
was only the whole time. There was only 3 reversals.
Right.
Three
So out of
challenges
100,
that wind up
only
being
like
upheld.
3%. Yeah. So
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actual egregious misses. If somebody runs off sides and they don't call the flag, they don't throw the flag.
no,
If there's
agreed.
a face mask, if there's a blatant face mask,
or if
and they don't
there's
throw the flag,
if
I'm
there's a
not talking
rushing-
about something. Hey, holding, not really the way you can do
Right.
that.
Right.
Pass
Right.
interference, can't do it that way. But something that's absolutely egregious, an egregious miss,
like
should
a personal
be
foul
reviewed.
on Tom Brady. Yeah.
Right. So you know what? The only way that's going to work, it's going to have to be called from an outside source.
Yes.
Like from New York
New York.
headquarters or something. That's
Well,
the only
I'm
way
just
that's going to
talking
work.
like that should be that you should get you should be able to throw the red flag for that.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
Again,
Well-
it's something like you said. You can't make it wishy-washy. It can't be
Right.
like a pass. Can't be a holding. Can't do stuff like that. But
For
Well,
example,
like
that
offsides.
hold on. So that passing interference in that conference championship game against the Saints and the Rams, an
Yeah.
obvious call, right?
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
Right,
Yeah,
but that you can't like although it's egregious,
hmm
and
that would
and I
fit.
guess
That would
maybe
fit in your
that would
example.
fall. Maybe
Yeah,
that would.
that would. Yeah,
I understand because
yeah.
that's what spawned the pass
The
interference
pass
review.
interference challenge, right?
Yep.
And ultimately that didn't work.
That didn't work.
So
No.
I mean, again, it would have to be blatantly egregious. Like it's got to be an egregious call, an
Right.
egregious miscall. So if that play happened, maybe you throw the flag for that because it was so egregious. It was so ahead of where he got tackled before that ball even made it anywhere near him.
Right.
That's egregious. When a guy gets pulled down by a face mask and the referee's looking dead at him and he doesn't make that call, and because of that he winds up separating his shoulder and fumbling the football, and it changes the momentum of everything that's going on.
Mhm.
That's an egregious miss.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is like I said, from the very get goes with these referees, we need to add referees onto the field, both in the backfield and on both sides of the ball. This would simplify things as well, because you got to remember that these referees are focused in, like the sideline judge is focused in on the side, the back judge is focused in on the back. The referee, he's kind of there just to see what's going on and take the calls, but we have to have another couple of refs placed into
Well, see, again, that's why I said somebody from headquarters should be watching that game.
Well,
And I mean, because they got the buzzer. I mean, they got the
of
buzzer where they
course,
let the refs know.
But
Yep.
the thing is you don't want somebody determining something off of TV. You want them seeing it in the field in real time. That's why we need those
Well,
extra.
but I mean, there's going to be replay, regardless if someone will challenge it or not.
Slow down. You don't want to slow down the game like that.
The game's going to.
And I'm saying that from the standpoint of the NFL. That's what they're looking at. But if you have a real time referee right there on the spot, both just add those two referees, one on each side of the ball in the back, looking at the whole playing field instead of just focused in just on their position, would help to eliminate a lot of this.
Yeah, I still think you need somebody like the eye in the sky. I really do.
Yeah, they're never going to go for that.
No, they're not. But I just think that if you took somebody on the outside looking in, they would have a different perspective, a different view.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I get what you're saying, and I agree. Same thing with baseball. I mean, they had more refs for the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
And I hear where you're coming from, but at the same time, too, they got to, the game is happening so fast.
exactly.
And when you take those seconds to slow the game down,
And
then that referee in the booth has that buzzer, like, hey, we're reviewing this play. Let's pause for a second, do a TV
Yeah,
commercial.
the problem
TV
is so they
timeout.
reviewed the play. They reviewed that play because originally it was scored a touchdown
Right.
by Washington.
Mhm.
So they reviewed the play, and even after the review, they saw at that point that there was a tremendous non-call.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, everybody saw it. But now, because you didn't make the call, you can't call it.
You can't go back. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Right.
They should have said, upon review, there was a face mask on the defense, 15 yards first down. It wasn't like his hand grazed the face mask.
Oh no, he pulled him down by the
He
helmet.
pulled him down.
Oh, by the
It
face
wound up
mask.
separating his shoulder the way he got tackled. He's out for 5 weeks now because of it. And the fact that there's no call, and that all these guys get to do is go get the call of the next game. I think that there should be something done in a realistic sense. Because truth of the matter is that if the Eagles would have wound up winning that game, they wouldn't have covered anyways. So when it comes to the gambling part of that, which is really what people are going to be talking about, it wouldn't have mattered, because if you got the Eagles with the points, you were going to lose. So I'm not really concerned about it like that. However, it was such a bad officiated game, a poorly officiated game. It made it look like the referees had picked Washington and the over.
which never happens. So
Yeah, and here's something going back to the referee thing. I'm going to tell you, being where I was sitting at, looking at one of the most highly viewed plays towards the end of the game, that sideline pass. The referee wasn't even looking where he was supposed to be looking.
Is he an older gentleman?
Yes,
Dude, he is the worst. And
exactly.
I pointed
and this
him
is
out.
where I was leading to.
I pointed him out to Echo when we were watching the game, and I said, "That's the guy," because I know him because he's always in the corner when he officiates our game, and I'm like, same corner I said it, and I'm like, he is the worst referee.
Something needs to be done with the referees and the training and everything else, because I'm going to tell you right now, that play, he was not even looking at it. He was looking over here at the receiver in the center of the field when the play was going on, and it was at the last moment when the ball was coming at him that he spun his head around, and it like an I better look out because this ball might hit me, instead of actually looking at what was happening in front of him. And I don't know if the NFL has, strict guidelines on what kind of tests that these referees have to take, but something needs to be done about, the training of these officials.
Yeah.
Because was that the play where it should have been intentional grounding?
No. This was going towards the corner. This was going towards the corner, towards about the 35, 40-yard line on the side.
Yes, it was exactly the play we're talking about, where they had the wacko snap that went 30 yards back. He didn't get out of the pocket, and he threw it, and it didn't get over. And so he was still in the pocket, so it didn't matter whether it crossed over the line.
That's a different one. That's a different one.
And it almost hit the ref in the head. He had to duck out of the way because he wasn't paying attention.
That was a different one.
I know what play you're talking about. No, they said he was out of the pocket.
He wasn't out of the pocket.
No, he
was not out of the pocket. He went straight back. And that's all he did was go straight back. And the pocket is straight back all the way through.
He did get an intentional grounding for that one.
No, he didn't.
Not.
No, he did not.
Again, it was another missed call. He did not. He did not. Trust me, I was there at the game, and I was yelling about it because I was right there on the 50-yard line.
Yeah, you're talking about Heineke. You're talking about Heineke, right? The ball going over Heineke?
Heineke went 20 yards back, and he threw it.
Wait. Okay, first off, what dictates the pocket? From tackle to tackle, right?
Yes.
Or is it guard to guard?
No, tackle to tackle.
It's tackle to tackle. So when the ball, maybe we have to look at it again, because I thought it was a little suspicious too. But when they showed the replay, he was outside of the tackle when he threw the ball.
No, because they were on the hash mark, so it wasn't outside of the tackle because the tackle was on the other side of the hash mark. So if you're going by the hash mark alone, he was outside of the hash mark, but he was still inside the box because that box goes forever.
But the ball did make it past the line of scrimmage.
Right, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he had to roll out a little bit.
He has to be outside of the pocket. I'll have to relook at it then.
There has to be a receiver within X amount of yards.
And there wasn't. Not within 20 yards. Not within 20 yards. The guy's like saying, I was here. Well, no, you were nowhere near it. Nowhere near it.
Not if he's thrown away.
He was on the sidelines, Jamie. He was on the sidelines.
If I'm not mistaken,
he was not on the sidelines. Watch the play. Stop talking crap. You won the game. Don't stop talking crap and think that you know what you're talking about. You obviously did not pay attention.
I know exactly what play you're talking about. I said I don't blame
the refs. There was a lot of other reasons why we lost this game. It had nothing to do with that. But
Freddie,
I appreciate another egregious bad call. Another egregious
definitely
bad call.
Wasn't outside of the pocket. Okay, he definitely didn't get intentional grounding. They showed 0 replays. What?
Yeah, no, they showed it. They showed it again. They showed it again at the field, and they never showed replays on the field.
Snap.
Right. They never show replays of the field. I tell you, that play was ridiculous. It was ridiculous and a mess, and it just showed the ineptitude of the referees.
Are you sure, Freddie? I could have sworn they showed a replay of that play.
They definitely showed it on TV. They definitely
because I recall watching that play again, because I had a question. I said, was he outside the box? Because I even said that
he was not outside the box at all. At all.
Again, I'll have to look at it again, but I know for a fact the ball
Because
went to the line of
I
scrimmage.
wasn't the only one with going through a conniption. What's his face was Nick Sirianni was also doing a conniption. So
Now, when the rule says, right, that if the quarterback is outside of the pocket, he can throw the ball away as long as it gets to the line of scrimmage, correct? So no receiver has to be in the vicinity. He could throw it away.
Correct.
Yes.
correct.
Okay.
So if he was outside of the pocket and he gets it past the line of scrimmage, it works. He threw it past the line of scrimmage, but the pocket doesn't stop at 10 yards. So
It goes
they
all the
hiked
way
that
back.
ball went back 30 yards, and he had to heave it to get it over the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And he
I'm surprised
barely
he
got
made it
that
there.
because the ref
Yeah.
wasn't paying attention. It almost hit him in the head. You know what I mean? That's what I thought you guys were talking about.
No, we were talking about the Dak.
Yeah, and then they didn't throw the flag. And they talked about it and said, oh, no.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, as we've been saying from the very get-go, the officiating needs something done.
Yep.
To your
And
point,
I don't
and
care.
Bud
I
kept
don't care.
saying that he was out, but no evidence was shown in the replay to reflect it. I was losing my mind.
That was probably the only thing I agree with Troy Aikman and Joe Buck that game.
Of course, because your ass was too much of a wimp to come up to Philly and watch it firsthand. You and Chris. Hey, congratulations to Chris, by the way.
Yeah,
I will
that's
say
pretty
that.
awesome, right? Yeah.
Wait, what happened to
Fan of
Chris?
the year.
Fan of the year.
Chris got the Commanders fan of the year.
Oh,
so he
hell
is
yeah.
the Commando fan of 2022. He's
Shout out,
balls
Chris.
out fan.
Yeah.
For like the NFL fan of the year thing, right?
No, for Washington.
For Commanders.
Oh, for watch. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yep.
So
Oh, shout out to license plate guy. He got awarded 2 Super Bowl tickets for David Tyree.
Super Bowl tickets.
Yeah.
But that
Shout out to him.
That was for doing some charity work with a couple of the Giants. So
Tyreek.
It's about damn time. He does a lot of work.
Oh, he does a lot of work.
He does.
A lot of work.
He does. He's good. Joe's a good guy. So
I can't
congratulations
stand
to him
him.
as well.
He owes me $5. Tell him I said that. Okay.
Hey,
So-
if you go to New York
so
the day
real quick,
after a
while
win,
we're-
he'll give you a Dunkin' Donuts card.
Right. Yep. Yes, he will. You'll say F sneaky. Nah, Joe's good people. Yeah, but tell me if anybody watching this, tell him I said he owes me $5. Okay.
Well, listen, I think he'll pay you back in giving you his share of the medium Pepsi that they give you guys.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Hey, I'll take whatever I can get. Shoot, and I'm a season ticket holder. Hey, they give us actually. I do want to give a shout out to the Giants for giving us these towels because the games are so close. We sweat every game, so we get to wipe our faces.
It says Together Blue and all. It's white.
Yes.
So good work on them.
Yeah.
So anyways, getting back to what I wanted to mention here. This is the first week in maybe 6 or 7 years that each one of our teams is favored.
Yeah.
This is the first week in 7 years, I think it is. The Eagles are 6.5 point favorite on the road. The Commanders are a 3.5 point favorite on the road. The Giants are a 3 point favorite at home, which is a little funny to me. That's a funny line, especially at home.
That's a standard line, though, ain't it?
But that's against Detroit, not Detroit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's somebody saying something there. And the Cowboys are a 1.5 point favorite in Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's another
That one I
weirdo
don't-
line to me. That's a weirdo
Yeah.
line to me.
Yeah.
So-
But don't the home team get 3 points anyway?
They don't. That's a thing. That's a thing
Okay.
that people make up to try to make sense of the lines. So
Okay.
the fact. All right. So you're getting your your home 3 points, and that means you're a pick 'em with Detroit.
which I can
That makes sense,
understand.
right, to you?
Look, Detroit,
makes sense.
Detroit has been in all their games. I mean, even with you, I think they
That's not
lost
true.
less
I
than a
remember
touchdown.
watching them getting beat 24-0.
But
Yeah, they haven't been in all of their games. They've been in all of their
well,
games
I'm
against
sorry.
their division because their division stinks out loud.
Well, I mean, it was a close game against y'all, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was
Well,
the
they
fi-
came back after we were
Yeah.
stomping them.
Right. Okay. And what was the final score? Like 38-32 or something like that?
1.
31.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
All I'm saying
I
is
mean,
it was within 7 points with a touchdown or a field goal.
right, and that
know.
was week 1. You know what I mean? So whatever. I mean, but I still don't think there's something that line's telling me something. That line's telling me something. That line tells me don't bet the Giants. You know, and it could change. It could change, but that line's definitely telling me don't bet the Giants. Not that I'm going
Yeah.
to bet anyways, but so let's start on it real fast. Starting with the Commanders at the Texans. The Commanders are a 3.5-point favorite, and the over/under being 40.5. First off, is Wentz coming to play?
It's a good question.
Rivera said
think
no.
so. I don't think so. I think Heineke is going to continue as long as they keep playing well and they keep responding, and rallying
Well,
behind them.
especially, I know there's a little chatter going on between the Vikings too and your guy about the whole celebration on the plane thing.
Yeah, that was stupid, but whatever. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was dumb that they did that with Heineke. That's Kirk Cousins' thing. Let him be. I mean, I don't see Wentz playing. I think Heineke starts. Hopefully Chase Young, he'll be back this week. So, adding him to that defensive line, that should help Montez Sweat out. I still think it's going to be a close game. I think that we're, still riding high from that Monday night game. It could be a trap game. I do think we pull out the win. I think we're going to run the ball. They have, what's his name? Pierce. Is it Pierce? The running back for Houston, the rookie.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He's a top 5, I think, in rushing yards. He's pretty good, but we stopped the run. So as long as we stop him and we play good D and we continue to run the ball, I think we'll be fine. I think it's going to be a 24. I'll take the over. I think it's going to be 24-20. Commanders.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that it's going to be a trap game for you guys, and I think that you were really high for Monday Night Football, and when you guys beat Pittsburgh last year, you guys lost 3 straight after, and I think it's going to be similar. I think that you guys were way high, and I think that I'm beginning to believe that Ron Rivera needs the emotional lift to be able to coach well. And I'm feeling that I'm beginning to believe now that you guys are poorly coached. That you guys have a talent. You guys have talent, and there's something that's wrong. I mean, I'm beginning to believe that. I know that he's a good coach and he's been around for a while, but there's reasons why you guys aren't winning games that you're supposed to win, and I'm beginning to believe that it's starting to go with the coaching rather than the talent, because I think you guys do have the talent, but I think that Ron Rivera is part of the problem now.
Well, and prior to the Monday night game, a lot of the teams were thinking that, and yes, his mom passed away, but we honestly thought that they were going to win against the Vikings because she passed away the week leading into the Vikings. So we thought, the team would rally behind him for that game. But, I know he made the emotional or tried to make the emotional speech after the game Monday night when we beat the Eagles. But
when you guys did what?
When
they beat him. And I mean,
Eagles.
listen, things are always, once you put her in, and I'm not making fun here. This isn't a joke. But
Right.
when you put her into the ground, it's a different scenario. It's the
Yeah.
finalization of that. And,
Yep.
when they pass, it's one thing. You're off of emotion, and your emotion
Yep.
goes in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And then the finality of it is where all of the emotion
It all comes together. Yep.
And trust
No,
me, I know
And-
all about this.
Yeah,
so do
for the
I.
record, I definitely wasn't making fun of that. I was making fun of how Park Ryan made the point to say when we beat the Eagles, and I said I didn't hear you. What'd you say when we beat the Eagles? I said okay.
So, but real quick because we're running out. We're running short on time.
Well,
here.
I'll say real quick. I think Heineke's going to go on a run right now. He got the team behind him. I mean, I'm going to go on
He's
the
trying
over.
to load up on dunks. Is that what he's trying to do?
I guess so. I mean, the team is rallying around the kid. All right, and they don't like Wentz. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't know that for a fact, and I can see you guys winning by 3 against Houston. If not 20 I'll say 20 to 27. Commanders.
Okay.
True.
I'll take Washington in the game. I'll have them 26-19.
Gaia. Okay, all going over. Me, I'm going under, and the opposite direction. Giants and Lions.
It's okay to be wrong, Jamie. It's okay.
Not everybody can be perfect like me. I'll be
Or
last.
the Eagles.
This line tells me that the Giants are going to lose this game.
That was good.
I don't know. I don't know why Vegas would have it this way. I think that they see Detroit scoring a lot of points and the Giants not being able to keep up. And I'm not exactly sure why they think that, but because I think you don't know what Detroit team you're going to get. But I actually have Detroit Lions winning this game 27-17.
Oh wow. I'm gonna go. Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. What's the temperature? What's the weather?
Weather's going to be chilly.
It's going to be clear.
Clear and chilly.
That's advantage. That's advantage Giants.
Yeah.
Being with Jared Goff being a SoCal kid. Yeah, I'm gonna say the Giants are gonna pull this one out. Just based on that fact alone.
Parker.
I've got
a score.
No, I ain't got no score. I'm just going based off weather.
Okay.
I've got the Giants. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say 28-24.
So, Jamie, just to prove you incorrect, they've lost 4 games by a touchdown or less. So,
right, but the other 2 games that they've lost have been by a lot more, right?
Well, 10 points, and they got blown out by the Patriots. Right. This is going to be I think this is going to be a close game. I'm going to say Giants 24-20. If we can minimize turnovers, okay, if we can minimize, not even have any turnovers, if Jones can stay on the track and we run Barkley run them like hell like we have been, 28-24.
There you go.
All right. And then we have the Eagles at the Colts, the last 1:00 game of the day. The Eagles are a 6.5-point favorite with an over/under of 44.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to beat the Colts.
Yeah,
I'll say 24-17. I'm not even going to
34-17.
24. And I mean, I know you guys are going to win by at least 7 or like 10 points.
I think Jeff Saturday is going to actually get his second victory. No, I'm just kidding.
That's
No, I'm kidding. I think Eagles are going to come out, playing fire. I don't think they're going to mess around. I think it's going to be a 42-6 game.
Where are you guys playing at?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, they're playing in the stadium.
Indoors.
That's going to be a
Indoors.
fast
Ooh,
stadium, yeah.
And it's supposed to be freezing cold up there, 25 degrees, but of course it'll be balmy 70 degrees inside.
Exactly.
Air conditioned.
Exactly. I'm
This guy can, man.
Matt Ryan's quarterback.
Really?
Matt Ryan can't beat the Eagles either, so.
Yeah, that's why I'm just like, if
I think Gina is his girlfriend. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles on this one. I'll take the Eagles 27-16.
27-16. You guys, I think we literally that the fire is already like coming out of their eyes and their nose and stuff like that. It's going to be a smackdown, a
For your
Saturday
sake, I
night,
hope so.
a Saturday night special. We're going to smack him around like nobody's business, and I think we're just going to crush him. And 42-6. I don't even. I see them scoring like some points here, but not a lot. And I know that they're going to try to run. They're going to try to do exactly what the Codes did. I know that we got a two-time Pro Bowl tackle who's a little old now, and all he's going to do is clog up the middle and wait till Jordan Davis gets back. But I think it's not going to matter. I think we're going to crush them, and I think it's going to be like 31-10. It's going to be that type of smack. And then last but not least, or I think it's least, but that's okay. The Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings.
Vikings 32-0. There, I'm done.
Dallas Cowboys with a 1.5-point favorite.
Oh, it's 1.5. Earlier it was 4.5.
Was it?
Yeah, this morning it was 4.5.
Oh, it's at 1.5 now. So I guess everybody said that's a wacko line.
Yeah, so there's probably a lot of people on the take. Depending on who I've got coming into the game, I haven't seen the health report, but
I know I saw that already. Like that doesn't even make sense. Ken, get out of here.
Ken, you got some in your teeth. You might want to
go back to his profile picture real quick.
Yeah, you got something in your teeth, Ken. You might want
to. I'm going to say the way the Cowboys played this past game, they're going to turn it around and we're going to win this one. We're going to do a little bit more running of the ball. At least I'm hoping so. So I'm going to take the Cowboys, what we should have had in this game, 31-24.
I think the Cowboys also win this game. And I think that the Vikings have now gotten lucky twice winning games. Literally lucky twice winning games. Now, and when you're a good team, you have to get lucky on occasion. But to get lucky twice, like literally, they stepped in doo-doo to beat Buffalo yesterday.
Hopefully, there's not
Sunday.
a Philly fan around. Get away, Ken. Get away, Ken.
Great.
Yeah, there's a lot that I keep seeing on the replays on that game, and I'm just questioning what the antics were of what Buffalo was doing. But anyways, what's your prediction, Pork Ryan?
Cowboys 2, Vikings 0. Parsons gets the safety in overtime. Now, Cowboys are going to win. I say it's probably going to be a shootout. I'm thinking 38-35.
If it's a shootout, Dallas will not survive.
Same situation. I agree. It's got to be close game.
Dak Prescott is going to have the game of his life.
I look at it as the other way, that I think that Micah Parsons is going to have the game of his life.
Yep, he's going to be chasing.
Hey, I hope he gets Kirk 10 times.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you don't like Kirk Cousins.
I can't stand Kirk Cousins.
I forgot. My bad.
He's the coach killer.
I don't like that.
I forgot.
All right.
Gotcha.
All right, Sneaky, you got to – I know you said 31-0. You were done. Is that a real thing?
Oh, that's real. Yeah. Okay. 42-0 then. Shit.
All right, good.
I hate the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, listen, everybody. Again, we went over our hour. We went over our hour, but it's been a long time since the four of us have been together. So I appreciate everybody hanging with us today. And you can watch us again tomorrow on Roku.
Oh, no,
I'm going to
like
replay
Ken.
this a few times.
Ken, I hope you find Jesus.
Yep.
I'll pray for you.
I'm sure he's wearing an Eagles jersey as well.
Or some floss.
Anyways,
Colgate, Listerine,
we'll see you guys next week. And as always,
of course.
Take command.
go Birds.
Let's go,
Them
Giants.
Cowboys.
Yeah.